Johannes Buhlmann, Olbendorfer Weg 70, USA 16064, D 13403, Berlin 2016, 10. Februar. Amnesty International Secretariat, First East Street, London, WC 1XO, United Kingdom. Dear Madam or Sir, Amnesty International German Division tells us there is no torture in Germany but democracy. Democratic communities do not torture, so no, I may help us fighting torture in German psychiatric detention camps, because there is no torture there. Even 13th session of United Nations Committee for the Rights of Handicapped People, March-April 2015, earnestly concerned about torture and of disappearing of people in forensic detention centers, can't help giving us a voice. Let me tell you, Madam or Sir, a recent incident of torture happened to me from 4th of February until yesterday, 9th. Justified by a fantastic construction of violence against special psychiatric staff. Indeed, it was a violent assault into my cell by another special prisoner, instigated by personnel, the fifth of its kind, first that I had to reject at the same level. I was put to torture at early evening on Thursday, 4th. I saw a bare room, a plank bed about 2 feet high, 2 foot 4 wide, 6 feet in the length. The room was constantly set at light, day and night. No sight outside, a panoramic window closed by slats to the wardroom, restricted air circulation, giving you the feeling of suffocation. On Friday, I asked how long I will have to stay in this isolation, left alone with nothing, barely naked. This will depend on me. I shall become silent. Wouldn't happen without medicine. Say, I shall take neuroleptic drugs or never get off of this torture chamber. Some comrades have stayed there for months. Over the weekend, I became aggressive more and more. Literally, my personality dissoluted in isolation with nothing to do but nothing. Not a holy Bible was given to me, nothing. Circadian sleep-wake rhythm changed to half an hour, half sleep, or 1, and an hour or 2 half awake. I was in total desperation, never to leave from there, but as a corpse. My premonition was to have to die, and it would be better to die than to stay in this torture any further. Psychiatric staff uttered scornful laughter, me feeling like being beamed to hell, just devils around. The television in the wardroom sent typical flashes of light at night. From time to time, a face emerged through the slats of the paramount window. Water supply to the toilet was cut off. You're dirty and you're stinking to heaven, I was attributed without having the opportunity to wash or change the nightshirt. Finally, morning of Monday, 8th of February 2016, approaching, I decided to give in the compulsion to take personality disordering neuroleptic drugs, fearing to lose my mind in that isolated doom else. By corresponding circumstance, anybody will become an idiot. Psychoanalytics says, insanity thence approached by reason of torture, so I now may get mad by compulsed antipsychotic medication, anyway a dangerous patient, to be imprisoned forever. To become quiet, indicated the psycho quack his drugs. Less eloquently spoken, me to shut up. But what not to talk about was it to urge me to keep quiet? homicide instigated by psychiatric personnel that have the key of the flat to the latter victim. In sexually connoted crime, Susanne Kahlert, may her soul finally rest in peace, and bring children for abuse to the perpetrator, convicted for similar offense by psychiatric special detention camp KMV Berlin, Germany. But how did I manage to become a target for forensic criminal law then? In 2006, when Mrs. Merkel just came to reignship, I addressed to her, not even Mr. Hitler gave the total official power to take away children from their families, as she did with new family law, FGG, Freie Gerichtsbarkeitsgesetz. Further, I told the world about failed law of Berlin elections in later 2006, given the clever ones the opportunity to vote without permission. And earlier, how to get diagnosis of chronic schizophrenia. There is no thing like schizophrenia at all, but final stage of severe personality disorder or psychotropic drug abuse, respectively. Anyway, not my concern. In 1999, I reported human trafficking by a translator at Berlin, Saxonia and Brandenburg courts to the police. Insanity followed immediately, diagnosed by medical officer Berlin Treptow. Well, there is no torture in democratic Germany, but first-degree evidence of torture in Germany at all. Statement of United Nations Organization and me. Is this sufficient to state? Germany is not a democratic state. Say, democratic and no torture bijectively means vice versa, torture and not democratic. So AI may help us. Looking at German criminal law gives further evidence for non-democratic Germany. Section 358 StPO, Strafprozessordnung, Code of Criminal Procedure, Reformatio in Peius, excludes unrestricted special detention in psychiatric camp as increase of severity of penalty, and thereby annuls the right of undergoing revision, eventually the state of legality at all, pushes fair trial to totalitarian trial, and annual hearing appears similar to Stalinistic troika of the 1930s, no public, no motion to hear evidence by psychiatric victim allowed. Because, as you may recognize, everybody, especially those to which civil courage is given, may be diagnosed, sentenced, insane not to stand trial, this totalitarian construction of German criminal law with the assumption of lack of criminal responsibility, sections 20, 21, 63, 67 StGB Criminal Code, keeps the whole nation in fears not to report ordinary crime as human trafficking, nor major crimes as electoral fraud or disconstitutional family law, the basics of total power. Sincerely yours, Johannes Buhlmann.